Welcome to Unscripted Coding. Today we are actually going to try and solve a problem. We aren't going to build a full app, but we are going to take that first piece and figure out if it's even feasible, if there's a solution to, I guess, a technical challenge. And that's always an important first step. But before we get right into it, let me introduce our problem. This all comes around Whisper API, or rather the idea involves Whisper API. We did a video last week on just using Whisper API, but if you aren't aware of what it is, it's another product, another API from OpenAI that builds chat-gpt and GPT-4. And what's important is Whisper API is a speech-to-text model, and that means transcribing. If I speak, the computer will be able to turn it into plain text that you can copy, paste, save in a notepad. This has been around for a very long time. I can't be the only one who remembers, Dragon naturally speaking. There used to be these there's these little tiny mics, and it's for professional dictation. You just speak to your laptop, it starts typing. They were never very good, and so Whisper API has gotten a lot better at identifying multiple speakers, dealing with different languages, things like that. So why I bring this up is because there's so much focus, and even on my channel, so much focus on these large language models because it's great. You can write reports, notes, you can write emails, very exciting. But AI is moving in different directions as well. And one of the key things is joining them together. And Whisper API is one in which you can speak to an AI, and it's getting fairly popular to be able to speak to an AI and have it respond in audio. They have a bunch of different examples here. I saw this one, for example, speak. This one makes a lot of sense. You speak through Whisper API, it turns it into text, and that way that text can be put into something like chat-gpt or GPT-4. From there, you can do all sorts of things. This one is a language learning app. You can maybe turn it into a quiz. It responds back. You respond. It turns into text. It responds in text. Turns into audio. Just blending these tools together, and then somehow you throw in images and videos and all of that in there. Now, the one that I thought of as a day-to-day would be helpful, at work, is taking meeting notes. And apparently I'm not the only one to think of it. There's dozens of companies tackling this, if not more. Otter AI has been around for a little while. But I'll tell you what my thought process is. It's not exactly perfect. It's not the greatest plan in the world, but it creates an interesting problem that I wanted to solve. You see, Otter AI records your meeting. So you're in a work meeting, 5 people, they're all talking. It transcribes it, and then afterwards it can generate summaries. So in general, this is what happened, or here are the short minutes. So, you don't have to sit through an hour of banter to get the really 3 or 4 line key summary. So there is that notion, and that's kind of the back of my mind. This is what is an idealized world. But the problem with Otter is that you have plugins for Zoom, plugins for Google Meet, plugins for Microsoft Teams, and this works great if you have an organization that can procure and license software fairly quickly, but a lot of times it's easier to be ad hoc, it's easier to kind of fly under the radar. Now, I should mention probably lots of bad reasons to go about this. You always want to get consent and be clear before you record other people. The other one is you probably want to avoid this. This is they do these vetting processes for a reason: security, privacy, whatever. But in my frame of mind, I was thinking, what can I build, between my friends and I that I don't need to install software. I don't need a plugin. I don't need a pop-up every time it happens. I just want to run a browser tab, basically, web app, and have it record the audio through the computer. Just record the audio that's going through my computer, send it off to Whisper API, do its thing through GPT-4, come back. And the first thought is no, there's no way. Like, browsers are self-contained. They generally don't get a lot of access to your computer, but that can't be true, because today we have Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. These things are all on web browsers, and they allow you to share screen. They allow you to share audio from your computer, share your screen, basically. There must be a way. And so that's kind of my process here, and I don't know where I'm going. That's the problem I'm trying to solve. If I were to try and record a meeting, and again, not for nefarious purposes, just a bit more informal, how can I do this in a web browser as a kind of cool tech demo that doesn't need a whole lot of installations, just a simple web app? And so today, what I want to do is just search this up in front of you and figure out if we can do this. So again, first thought was no, there's no way. Web browsers are limited, sandboxed. But web browser share screen development. Okay, this looks really promising. So Mozilla always has these docs that are really, really helpful. And screen capture makes perfect sense. See, I think this should look fairly familiar to anyone that uses Microsoft Teams or Google Meet on the web browser. You can share screen, it pops out, and it's so similar between the different providers. I feel like it must have been built into the web browser. I know that you get audio as well. Here we go, capturing shared audio. Excellent. So if you read here, and I should zoom in a little bit, user agents may allow the capture of audio along with the video content. The source of this audio might be the selected window, the entire computer's audio system, or the user's microphone, or a combination of all of the above. And that's pretty key. If we're thinking purely meetings and, keep thinking Zoom or so on, you're running a app on the side. What you want to capture is the system's audio, the computer audio system, because that's everyone else's chat. And then the user's microphone. That is your voice. Because normally Zoom doesn't spit your voice back out at you. That will cause kind of confusion if there's some sort of delay, causes it to recapture on the microphone, just messy. So they don't broadcast your voice, but you can, I guess, splice the two together. Browser compatibility, I assume this is fairly new. So if you're using Internet Explorer 6 or something, I assume this isn't going to work out. But I'm not too concerned. This won't work on any of the mobile browsers too, which is fair enough, but I have this very specific use case in mind. Okay, so we have get display media. You have options, and you can turn the video to false. Echo cancellation, noise suppression, sample rate. Okay. So they have an example here that we can probably just copy right now. And so I started a blank page here. And of course, there's no JavaScript in here, so I think we gotta copy the rest of it here. I don't really need logging for now, but we'll have the async start capture. Stop capture. And sure, why not? Why not dump the config information? And I guess we'll take their CSS as well. So at the start, we'll put in a style tag. Okay, let's just see if this... So when we click Start Capture, we can choose a window and screen. Mute website notifications, don't care about that. So we can skip that for now. What I wanted to do is now start looking at the code, because I don't care so much about the video. I just wanted to capture the audio, and if I remember right, they put this as false. So the video, I could even change it to false if necessary, but we'll come back here and look at the options. So surface switching, self-browse surface, system audio. System audio. I also wanted the user microphone, so I wonder where all the options are. To request that the screen be shared with included audio. Okay. Well, let's ignore that for now. We can turn this to false. And let's see what happens here. If I refresh, click Start Capture, don't think that is working right. So let's look at our logs. Let's look at our console. Video is required. Interesting. You know what? Let's keep our options nice and simple first. So if we take out all of this and just put true, I want to know what happened. So we're skipping the video, but we're keeping the audio. Video is required. So it's possible, and this doesn't surprise me, that because of the use cases, we always have to capture video. So in this case, let's try this again. I'm just going to move off screen. And, screen 1. And you can see this is what is happening here. I think this is all we really need. From our test, you can see we must capture video. We know how to include system audio and capture the audio. And from there, I suppose we can figure out what we want to do with the audio. So let's take a quick look. Nah, let's not go there. I feel like we might have to dig further in to figure out how to actually use this media stream to change it into to get the audio. So get tracks. Yeah, I feel like the capture right now is an video with audio, and how to strip out just the audio part is another challenge. Very possible, but we got through the problem that I initially wanted. I feel like this is a good time to talk really briefly about what possible uses there are. Certainly meetings, seems like everybody's thinking about that, but if you start capturing audio in different places, I'm thinking as you're watching YouTube, as you are watching a Twitch stream, something live, you can be getting transcriptions, and you could be getting notifications along the way. So I had this twisted kind of example of doing it for meetings just because that's what everyone else is thinking. But if we're thinking about capturing live TV footage and having chat-gpt analyze it along the way, or some other AI to actually get notified about important things to capture and realize what it's saying. So as you're listening to, say, live news, you're just scanning and asking ChatGPT, what's the last section about, I don't know, about programming, any news about programming. You can have a series of bots just keep scanning live TV that's running on your computer. There are probably more efficient ways to do this. You'd probably want it on a server, not on your computer, but I was hoping that there would be something simple that we can build right into a tab, and I think this might work really well. One last thing that I'm realizing right now, I think Whisper API actually ingests video as well. So we may not need to actually change it into audio. So it supports MP4, MPEG, WebM. These are video file extensions. So potentially we could just feed the video file in and it transcribes into text anyways. I hope that was helpful. I feel like I rambled quite a bit for this video, but I think it's helpful just to get the process out and into maybe a mumble jumble worth of words, but just to talk it out. So hopefully you find that helpful. I feel like this is the first step of a video, and then we could start building on top of it. Now that we can capture audio, computer audio from a browser tab, we can then use it to do different things and build different projects. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.